Facebook ads. Tell me something. Have you ever tried to run a Facebook ad and you get disapproved? Yeah. Well, if you are one of those, I am in that boat as well. It happened to me many times in the past, and I learned from my mistakes. And I want to share with you what I discover that could help you with your ads so it wouldn't get disapproved anymore. So let's dive into this. For those who don't know me and it's the first time coming on and listening to me, hey, my name is Joel Levia. I'm a personal trainer, nutritionist, business owner based in New York City. Love what I do. I love transforming people's life, people who are not well, and help them to get better. And at the same time, I enjoy talking to fellow personal trainers, nutritionists, wellness coach, just like you, sharing what have worked for me in my business, and hopefully it could work for you too. Come on, let's talk about it. We all know that running ads is the fastest way to get prospects to know about you in this crazy, noisy world. And you might try it before and you're just getting frustrated by disapproval or just not working. And that's why I create Fridays as a day to just talk about ads. I'll be sharing exactly what's working for me. All right? So let's talk about disapproval. There is few things that I observe that may get your ad disapproved. And I'd like to just talk about three of them today. And one will be about the image, the text, and image, text, and copyright. There's other things that could cause it to be disapproved, but I'm just talking about these three. These are the three that most of the time, that's the reason why. So let's jump into the first one, copyright. Copywriting is using somebody else's work without their permission. So you create this nice fancy ad and you add some music to it, and that music is owned by Rick James or James Brown or somebody, right? And he didn't get a license approval to use it, that ad most likely will get disapproved. It wouldn't run. Yeah. What about you use video? You use somebody else's work and you run it as an ad and using it as an example to get prospects to click. Again, just like the audio, the video is the same way. Using somebody else's work without their permission, you'll get flagged in a heartbeat and your ad would not run. So that is number one, copyright. So if you're using anything like music, make sure you have some form of license. I remember a few years back, I used this service online who said they're giving you royalty-free music. And I did use it. And my ad was flagged. They told me I needed the license for my ad. And the company told me I don't need a license, but Facebook telling me I need a license. I was going back and forth and I said, you know what? Hell with it. I stopped that service immediately. I'm not going through this copywriting infringement. And I create my own music. And the ad was approved. So just be aware of copyright infringement. That's number one. Number two is text. Text is those catchy phrases that you're trying to use to get people to click. And Facebook is very aware of clickbait using, there's two ways of looking at it. Clickbait is using words that you know people will agitate people to click, and what you're trying to sell or service or make them be aware of is not the same thing. So Facebook is very aware of that clickbait strategy. You might be saying, hear what Mr. Joe Biden have to say about COVID, when it's not true. That is using clickbait because you know people might be alert about the president or about COVID or the vaccine, and you're using these words to trigger people to click onto your ad, that wouldn't work. Facebook is hip to that, and if they catch you, they not only could disapprove your ad, they could actually ban you totally. So you have to be very aware of that using this clickbait text strategy. The next way they could disapprove you with text is using words that might offend certain groups of people. So let's say, let me show you how to, are you struggling to lose weight? Are you always looking at the donut and kind of refuse? Those kind of texts don't work in ads. No, you have to be very, very careful with those words. Because what you just did is you could categorize everybody who you're targeting is struggling with losing weight. It mightn't be so. It mightn't be so at all. They may already seen results and they want somebody to take them onto that journey by their hand and push them further faster. So you have to be very aware of using those kind of words, categorizing everybody in one big group. That's text. The other way with text, when talking about weight loss and stuff, you have to be, and clickbait, you have to be very careful by not using text that not just degrade someone, but like belittling them, which could be considered hate speech and stuff like that. So you have to be very careful. Facebook is very sensitive. They don't want to be considered part of that gang, so they will ban any text that looks like, feels like. So you have to be very aware of that, your text. And at the same time, text, you could use text if you have a good copywriter, you're very good skillful with words. You could use it to motivate people to click on it and change their life. But you have to just be aware of how you present that text. Okay, let's dive into the next one because I could talk about text for a while. There's much more to talk about when it comes to text in your ad message. The next thing is images. Images, so anything that is nudity, they'll ban it. Period. Anything look like rated XXX, they will ban it. Period. That's number one. With images, also again with the copywriting stuff, you have to be very aware of that. And the image, I always say to myself, try to use an image because they say an image tells 1,000 words. So you try to use an image that could portray the message that you want to relay in the ad. Talking about weight loss, show somebody who either lose weight, looking fit, or someone who is on the way to losing weight as an image. Most of the time, personal trainers like to use their own face and stuff like that. Also be aware of that unless you already famous in your little niche, right? So that's that. Images, you have to be careful with images. Text on image is the next thing you have to be aware of because most of the time you use an image and then we plaster it with text. Ooh, Facebook may not ban it. Sometimes they do. So that's one thing. But what Facebook might do is charge you more money for putting too much text on an ad. And that happened to me in the past. So I'm just telling you from my experience, be aware of that. That's that. When you come into images and text, what I observe with Facebook, if you could have like 20% of the image, that may pass. But you have to be aware, if the text is too small, it might be a little more difficult to read on that image. how it could slide. This is how you could use if you want to put a lot of text on an image. This is what Facebook will approve if you have a markup book, right? Like a freebie of some kind of ebook or something like that to download. You could put a lot of text on that ebook markup. Also, if you have a markup box, you could put a lot of text on it and it will pass. Facebook will let it pass. So that's the only how we could overcome those plenty text on images. Beware of that. Hey, I hope this information help you out in running your ads. Try them out. Make sure you tweak yours. Tell me how it worked for you. Hey, until next time, peace and success.